Hi, Al. I'm Sinclair Sexsmith, and I'm here to answer questions. This is part of the Ask Me Anything series, and I've got a form on my site on Sugarbutch where you can write in and ask me a question if you have something that you're pondering in your head and something about DS or strap-on sex or whatever it might be, and I will do my best to answer it. I kind of have hundreds of these in the spreadsheet, so I don't get to them all, but I try, and I love reading them, and I love thinking about your questions, and I think about every one, even if I don't answer them all. Okay, so this question comes from Marie, and it's a question about DS. The question is, my partner and I have come to a difficult place in our relationship. I have long since had the desire and urge to be dominated, to be somebody's submissive, and to explore the world in its entirety. My partner, however, has no wishes to do this. I've sat down with her and tried to explain what it meant to me, and what it would mean to our relationship, but she says she can't bear to hurt me, even if I enjoy it. I've been the dominant one, so to speak, in our relationship, and I know for a fact that she would never consider me seeking a dom or having an open relationship. I love her, but I'm unhappy. How do you first address all of this? Is there something else I can explain to her before I have to make a decision? I really want to explore this, and I want to with her, but she has no budge room, and I don't want to make her uncomfortable. All in all, I'm really confused, and it ends. Marie, I'm so sorry to hear that. I think this is a super common problem for both sides, for doms who want to explore more submission in their partner, but who don't necessarily have a partner who's submissive, and for submissives who want more dominance in their relationship, but who don't necessarily have a partner who's dominant. So I think that's really common, and I'm so sorry, and it is really, really frustrating for people who are in that position. I've been in that position in my life, dating people who were basically not submissive and who were interested in exploring sex maybe a little bit, but not that much. And it's taken me a long time to really build my relationships around the kind of DS that I want to have. And you know, when you have a lot of time to date and try things on and play things before you choose your partner and before you settle down with a partner, it's kind of easier to filter for that later, you know? Like, Rafe and I have only been together a couple of years now, and I knew a couple of years ago what I wanted, so it was easier for me to put that forward and put that as one of the requirements of my relationship. But I wouldn't have known to do that at 20. I didn't know to do that at 22 or 30, even 30. You know, I barely picked. Well, I guess maybe 28. I knew at 30. But I think this is really common, is my point, and it can be really frustrating. I mean, ultimately, it's about wanting to have a kind of sex life and a relationship dynamic that your partner maybe doesn't want to have, isn't familiar with, or just doesn't feel in their bones themselves. And if they are not open to you, you know, seeing a dominant on the side, or not open to you exploring, you know, polyamory in a more open way, then you're kind of at a loss. And I don't know how else you can explain to somebody, you know, how important it is to you. I think there's a lot of, you know, possible exploration that you can do when someone is open to it, when someone's like, well, I have no idea what to do. I have no idea how to dominate you, but if that's what you want, then I'm willing to practice. That's one thing. But if they're basically saying, absolutely not, I won't hurt you, I'm not interested in causing you pain in bed, you know, which just is another way to say possibly that they have no sadism in them, or have, you know, not explored it in a kinky context in any way. It's really difficult. It's near impossible. So unless they have some budge room, which you said in your note, Marie, that your partner does not, there's not a lot to do. So then you're faced with this really fucking difficult decision of, can you stay in this relationship and in a monogamous agreement with someone who does not want to explore the kind of sex that you want to explore? And that's a decision that only you can make. That's a decision that you're going to have to face and that you're going to have to think about, and you're going to have to, come to some sort of conclusion about eventually. And of course, it's easier, and I know this from being in bed-death relationships myself, it's easier to make no decision and stay than it is to acknowledge that that's extremely important to you and it's enough of a reason to go. I totally understand that the rest of the relationship could be perfect, could be excellent, you guys could be so good in so many aspects, but that this one little thing is not good enough. I want to say that I think it's actually okay to leave because the sex isn't right. I don't generally encourage people to break up. Really don't. I think love is amazing. I think partnerships are important. I get super attached to people personally, so I understand the trauma and pain and grief and difficulty of splitting with somebody. I don't encourage that. And I really do encourage you to think of sexual needs as a legitimate, important thing that you can seek and have and find in a relationship. It's okay to leave because your sexual needs are not getting met. If you're in a monogamous relationship, basically what you're saying to the other person is, I agree to at least try to meet your needs. Of course, nobody's ever going to meet your needs all the time, of all things, but I agree that we are only going to be each other's sexual partners from now on, so I agree to play with you. I agree to listen to you. I agree to entertain the ideas that you have about kinky sex or DS or whatever you might be interested in. I agree to entertain that within my own boundaries. Everybody's allowed to have their own boundaries. It's not, a requirement that they do this. But for me, it's meant really prioritizing somebody who is willing to hear that from me, who is willing to listen, who is willing to explore. That is so, so important to me. I think that so often we phrase these things like, my relationship is perfect except for this one little thing. Well, this one little thing is actually kind of huge. And for me, when I'm not having the kind of sex that I want, I'm kind of miserable. I'm kind of a bad person to be around. I don't think about anything else. I can't get any work done. I can't do art. I'm terrible. So I prioritize having my sex needs met. It's really important to me, and it's really okay for it to be important for you. So my suggestions for you, Marie, and for anybody who's in this position of really wanting to explore and really not being available, really not having their partner be available, is to really sit down and talk to them about it. To say, look, this is what I want. It might be a deal breaker. What are you willing to explore with me? What can we do? Are you interested? Are you willing to go to some kinky classes with me? Are you willing to take a course? Are you willing to see a couples therapist? Are you willing to see a sex therapist or a dominant, a sacred intimate therapist like myself? I'm not a therapist, a coach like myself who would walk you through this. Are you interested in having conversations? Are you interested in watching porn? Are you interested in letting me see somebody professionally to explore some of my submission? Are you interested in supporting me through a course like the Submissive Playground, which is open right now, that happens in summer school in July and August? Are you interested? Is your partner willing to support you through an experience like that? You have a right to have your own sexuality and your own desires and your own requests and wants and needs and things you want to explore. And it sucks that your partner doesn't want to do that with you. It sucks. They don't have their own authentic interest in it. That's shitty. But there are some, you got to get clear with them, and you have to tell them in a way that they hear the weight, that they understand that this could be a deal breaker, that they understand that this might be the thing that ends your relationship if they're not willing to step up. I imagine that you haven't laid it out that clearly to them, and you need to. If it's this big for you, you need to tell them. And you don't have to tell them right off the bat. You don't have to sit down and be like, I have to tell you something. I'm going to break up with you if you don't dominate me. You don't have to do that. But start by saying, like, hey, there's a kinky thing, and I want to go to it. Do you want to go? Hey, there's a course online and I'm thinking about it. Are you interested? Hey, there's a, this kinky erotica I've been reading. Wait, can I send it to you when you read it too? You know, offer them things and offer them perspectives that they would connect with. I have a recent article about feminism and BDSM and the struggle with reconciling those differences. And if she is having difficulty doing things like hitting you because it's, she doesn't want to hurt you, sometimes that's a guilt and a sadism guilt and a feminist reconciliation issue that is difficult. So there are lots of people who can support you in this. There are lots of courses. There are lots of sex educators. There are lots of coaches like myself. We will talk to you about this if you want to know. I highly suggest getting in touch and getting deeper. Good luck, Marie, and good luck everybody who's got this issue. I relate, having been in bed death and in not DS relationships myself, and the only thing to do is go forward, be super honest, have conversations, talk to each other, and explore. Try to find some openings that you can explore into. Good luck.